And we are back with another video. And today I want you all to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I'm just kidding. But this is where America steps up and starts to kick the daylights out of our, what is it? Netherlands guy or something. The Stellantis dude, Carlos Tavares.
I love lamp.
Because Ford just announced that they are walking way back their whole EV strategy. They can't make money with it. It's not working. They're going to go with some commercial truck, and some small truck in like 2027 and some other thing, but they're walking back their 3-row SUV, which, by the way, is like the #1 most hottest selling vehicle, regardless of brand, to ever exist. Is that 3-row or even 2-row SUV, but you add a 3rd row in. I mean, people want that. It's families. But you know what they said? They said in the article, what we realize is, one, we won't be profitable for a year. It's going to cost us a fortune to do it. No guarantee that those losses wouldn't continue into the next year. But people who buy these big 3-row SUVs are generally using them for longer trips.
No shit, Sherlock.
What a concept, everybody. Someone's using their brain. So whether you like Ford or not, and no question, there's plenty of controversy at Ford. There's plenty of controversy at GM right now. But if we're going to talk about alignment, I think I got to be a little bit aligned with the American car maker who is stepping up and saying, hey, look, you know what? It does make sense that we throttle back this whole EV thing, and maybe we should focus on profitable vehicles like hybrids, because the American public has said, we're good with hybrids. We're good making that small step rather this giant leap of being tethered to an electrical cord.
I've been waiting for 30 minutes. It's my turn. I came around to take the spot. You f***ing liar!
They're willing to do a hybrid. We're good with that. I'll tell you right now, I'm fine with hybrids. Certainly would much rather have big, nasty, loud, awesome V8 engine. But for commuting, for work, for the average human being that needs a car for life, hybrids are amazing. You'll get phenomenal gas mileage. It'll help with their whole achieving CAFE standards still. They're still going to keep their Mach-E. I'm not getting rid of that. I think I don't know if their Lightning's still around, but they're still going to keep their stuff that they've got going right now with EVs, but they're not going to be bringing out these new things. All while Tavares is just doubling and tripling down.
Well, I definitely believe that the US market is ready for zero-emission vehicles, and specifically for electric vehicles.
Bullshit!
On EV SUVs and the new Jeep thing and all this junk that he's going to be bringing that nobody wants. We're all clear we don't want. We couldn't have made this more clear, that the EV Charger is fairly a useless car. You're looking at a 2-door, and even with the 4-door sedan with a hatchback that has horrible range and weighs almost 6,000 pounds, people aren't saying, I want that for fun, when you can get a Model 3 Tesla and whip its ass up and down the highway all day long, or a 2-year-old Tesla Plaid for less money and not only whip its ass, but run circles around it while towing another Tesla Model S Plaid behind it. It just makes no sense. I still believe that the electric vehicles need to stay in the hands of Tesla. And yeah, do we want a monopoly? Of course not. But it just makes sense. They've got the charging network. They've got the technology down. They've got the range figured out, at least better than anybody else. They're a profitable company, unlike Rivian, that's hanging by a thread. Fisker just bellied up. You've got, Lucid is just losing just hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. I think they just got a new reinforcement of investment from the Saudis, so they might last a little longer. They might last for a lot longer, but at some point, it's going to have to come to roost, because I don't think anybody's jumping on board with these EVs. But let's jump in. Let me show you this article, because if you're a Dodge fan like I'm a Dodge fan, you can't help but to think, I wish it was us. I wish it was Dodge doing this, not Ford. But you know what? I'll hand it to Ford. I wish I liked Mustangs. They are not messing around. They're going to throw their proverbial car in reverse and go, yeah, we're not going to end up where Stellantis is. They are sitting back watching Carlos Tavares get roasted on all over the place, from Wall Street, from the news, from the mainstream news, from all the YouTubers out there. He's getting crushed, but he's getting sued. He's getting lawsuits against him. Italy's throwing rocks at him. Even his own European Union, the customers there aren't happy with the things that he's doing.
What entity could get Citroën out of Stellantis if things go awry? What I'm trying to get at is I don't see any solution to this. I think that Stellantis was a bad idea, and I think it's going to end badly. In essence, Stellantis are screwed, in my humble opinion. I don't think they're going to make it. I hope I'm wrong, by the way. Maybe they should get rid of Carlos Tavares, because he's been making millions and millions in bonuses and things like that.
The products he's sending out are a bunch of crap, and he's committed so deeply that it's almost the point of no return that he couldn't unravel this disaster if he tried. So he's still, in all his incredible arrogance, is still holding on to this dream of us wanting affordable EVs for the same price as ICE cars. He believes this. When he goes to bed at night, he thinks that's what they want. With his $40 million paycheck, well, the rest of us are screaming, no, I don't think anyone said that. Even with the proliferation of all the Teslas, the $40,000 Teslas, the cheap Teslas, the used Teslas that are the same prices of the ICE engine, the ICE cars, people still don't want to buy them. And the other big thing, I had somebody ask me the other day, just like, what do you think's going to happen with the economy? What do you think's going to happen with the real estate market? And I said, we've been in a great real estate market nationwide since about 2011, 2012, which was about when the recovery set after the 2007, 2008, 2009 disaster, the Great Recession. Remember that? Well, we've been sitting here with a good economy, a good real estate market all the way since then. And today, we're sitting here with big interest rates and things still appear to be good. They still feel okay in the real estate market. So what is going to happen? How can we have a recession or a depression or something bad happen? And everybody says, well, there's nothing we see in sight. There's nothing. There's nothing that seems to be on the horizon. And my response was what I heard from an economist back in 2008 and 9 was, it ain't the bus you see that hits you. It's the one you didn't see that plows you down. And in this situation, nobody knows what's going to happen this next few years. But I will tell you what I believe is the biggest nightmare that we're facing and the banks are going to be facing is the depreciation of all these EVs. All these EVs that people bought. Depreciation on regular cars, on ICE cars, is already something that we're all having to deal with. We've always dealt with that, though. That was part of the deal, and the contract with the banks were, yes, we'll lose money on it, so we need to keep it long enough to where we aren't upside down and we can get out of it and get a new car, or roll a little bit of negative into the new car. And people have done that for decades. But with the EVs, that just doesn't work, because we're talking about massive 30, 40, 50% depreciation first and second year, meaning nobody can pay their loan off on that overpriced, expensive EV fast enough to be able to have any equity in that car, and not only not have equity, but be wildly upside down. And I'm talking about tens of thousands of dollars in negative equity in these cars in comparison to, for example, my Dodge Challenger Scat Pack Special Edition Swinger 6-speed manual spectacular sublime green car that I paid $66,000 for. I put like $7,000 or $8,000 down on it. I am probably about $5,000 to $6,000, maybe $7,000 on a wholesale upside down on that car. That's totally solvable. I could go buy another car, and if I was tight on cash, I can pay $2,000 or $3,000 to get out of it, and they can roll a little bit into the next car, and I've got really good credit, and I could buy another car, and I'd be upside down on that thing for a little while, but it would not be horribly catastrophic. But think about this. An EV, if you paid $70,000, $66,000 for an EV, that same EV is probably worth $40,000 in the same time period. And frankly, nobody really wants it. But if they do buy it, you have to take that hit of, let's say it's $20,000, $15,000 on that car, you ain't just rolling that over into another car. You're not just stroking a check to pay the negative down to go buy your next car. Guess what you're doing? You're stuck in that car. And guess what? If that car gets out of warranty or breaks, you're toast. If something goes wrong with that battery that's not under warranty, you hit something and your insurance company doesn't step up, you've got a problem. All kinds of factors that must be considered with these EVs. But even then, if people were to buy them used, as soon as those batteries start to die, the batteries cost and are frankly worth more than the entire car. Meaning that at that point, you've got voluntary repos, people signing cars back to the bank. So is that the bus that's going to hit us next? I would say it's very possible that the next financial collapse is tied to this whole stupid EV thing, and frankly, the entire car market where people overpaid and people who bought even ICE cars, even Hellcats with $20,000, $30,000 over in markups are sitting $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 upside down on their cars. But let's just check out this real quick and we'll end this video. All right, so here's the article, and I'm not going to read this whole thing, but I want you to go click on the link in the description below to go ahead and read it and realize that while Dodge is going full bore down that road saying we're going to do these EVs, these guys are saying we're changing our strategy and canceling plans for an all-electric three-row SUV, which is pretty much what Dodge is planning to come out with, or Jeep is coming out with. I don't know if it's a three-row, but it's definitely an SUV, and they are definitely going to be coming out with a whole bunch of SUV versions, and nobody's going to buy them, and delaying the launch of the full-size EV pickup. Dearborn-based automaker said it will instead prioritize the introduction of an all-electric commercial van, followed by an affordable mid-sized EV pickup. Okay, well, if they get the price down low enough, maybe there's a market for that. A delay of about 18 months. My thought about 2026 and definitely 2027 is that gives them plenty of time to slow roll, kick the can down the road, and see what happens politically, and also see what happens with EV adoption. And if they have to go in reverse at that point, they probably still can. Our focus here is to remake Ford into a higher growth, high margin, more capital efficient, durable business. And that means these vehicles need to be profitable. And if they're not profitable, based on where the customer is in the market, we will pivot and adjust and make those tough decisions. Here's the deal, Carlos Tavares at Dodge. Pivoting is what you should be doing right now, not doubling down. Doubling down will be your undoing. Here's what they said about the SUV at Ford, is it wouldn't be profitable in the first 12 months of its launch, so instead the company will make a hybrid three-row SUV, and that'll sell like crazy. Based on findings that customers who would drive three-row SUVs are using them for long-range travel. What a concept. You don't even need to poll anybody to figure that one out. Pivot will cost Ford a special non-cash charge of $400 million for the write-down of certain product-specific manufacturing assets. These actions could also result in additional expense and cash expenditures of up to $1.5 billion. Now, that sounds like a huge number to all of us, but for Ford, this is a drop in the bucket compared to going down a road and dropping, let's say, $10, $20 billion on an EV gamble. No, these guys can't gamble with these companies, and America would expect more. So the bottom line is, they talk about the slower EV adoption than predicted, and certainly the market is contributing to that, but people don't want them. EV purchases are forecast to represent 8.3% of new car sales. So if you put 100% of your business, which Carlos is doing, into 8.3% of the market, expecting that you're going to be able to grow that market, you better be as good or better than Tesla, and they are not as good or better than Tesla. So assuming that the best of the best is Tesla, and the best they could do, I think they represent close to 5 or 6% of that 8%. So let's just say it's probably 60, 70% of that 8.3% is Tesla, and the increase is nothing worthwhile, 7.6% to 8.3%, and it's a rounding error. Really, when you're talking about the number of cars being sold, that is not part of the growth that if I was a CEO, wanted to be part of. General Motors recently indicated its luxury Cadillac brand will likely not have an exclusively all-electric portfolio of vehicles either at the end of the decade after all. It also said it would delay the restart of its EV factory in Orion Township by 6 months as demand for EVs grows more slowly than previously projected. So the bottom line is they're losing money on EVs. It makes no sense. And we're right. We've been right for a very, very long time. And if you go back and watch my old videos where I talked about why EVs won't work, why it's a huge, huge, colossal waste of time and money, people made fun of me, and the Tesla people were ripping me apart in the comment sections. And frankly, they still do on some of my videos now. And I'm fine not saying I'm the one that said this, because I was picking up what I was hearing from other much smarter people than me who were saying, no, it should be an option. If you want one, get one. But no automaker should be going all in. Tesla has already saturated the market so much that you're going up against a 6'7", 350-pound bodybuilder, karate master, jiu-jitsu king in a fight, and you're going to get your ass whooped. They're going to mop the floor with you. So bottom line is, folks, Ford is making, I believe, a smart decision, and I believe GM is making a smart decision. But Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Chrysler, under the Stellantis banner, Carlos Tavares, is making a bad decision, and his decision is going to absolutely come back to bite him. It already is, as he's getting, like I said, roasted everywhere. And if he sees any of these videos, if he sees any of the news articles, at some point, he may say, you know what, maybe we're screwing up. But I know in my history of dealing with narcissistic people, I got to think that's what he is. They believe they are right, and no one can tell them otherwise. And they will remove people from their lives, their existence. What's up, Tim Kaniskis? Who try to tell them otherwise. And then, to their own demise, they will make headlines, like he's making headlines now. With that, everybody, please like, subscribe, comment. Let me know what you think about this interesting transition and shift from Ford and, frankly, GM. And I think everyone else, Toyota was smart, decided never to really play, and play at a very small level. Anyways, like, subscribe, comment. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.
And we have to double the power density of the battery cells so that you can have a smaller battery with less weight and therefore less cost.
He's shaking his head over
No,
there.
it's a lot. You got a lot to do.
Yes, we have.
A lot to do. You got to make it much more. You know, I don't need any more anxiety. You mentioned a couple of kinds of anxiety there. I don't need that layered onto my existing anxiety. You got to understand why consumers feel this way.
Sure.
You have to.
Sure.
So you're going to get to 500 miles. When is that going to happen?
It's going to happen this year.
That one didn't age quite so well.